Well, hello everyone. It's me, E. Giuliano, and it's 21st of May. Well, actually transitioning over to 22nd in UTC time, midnight-ish, let's say. And welcome so much. Thank you for joining and watching this video. Maybe 1.5x, 1.75x speed, maybe just normal speed. Hope you're getting something out of this. I have a lot to share, I think, of value, especially in this one today. And I also want to thank you again, liking the video, commenting. Thanks for all the great comments. And oh, you know what? So many of you who are watching are subscribed. So if you're not subscribed yet and you're watching this, subscribe to the videos. They're coming and they seem to be pretty good. All right, we're having some fun around here and learning a thing or two. So yeah, so speaking of which, all right, definitely people saying that they're staying hydrated. Great. I can assure you that you stay hydrated. You know, you drink your water. Think about this. You're an organism, a human being with, at least most of you are, with fluids. Like, this is just vital in your cells and in between all your cells, and also moving throughout your body as a conduit. So you get all these things. Like, think about your immune system. And you got all these pathogens and other things coming in, and it's killing things. And even just your cell debris and all that stuff needs to go somewhere. And the fluids is a huge part of this. So you make sure that you're well hydrated, your brain to be well functioning for all this price chart action. You want to understand what this video is going to show you, you might need to properly hydrate yourself first. Well, it might not be that bad. And if you are in that kind of state, well, then definitely get some rest. Let my soothing voice put you to sleep. Now, I do want to continue the story by saying, yeah, all this fluid movement is so important, and you include the big vessels of blood flow, the blood vessels, and then the lymphatic vessels. And altogether, you know, you have all this fluid, but it needs to move around. It needs to exchange. It needs to circulate. Therefore, in order to do that, the way that this has designed itself, this organism, it has movement as the way to move the fluids. You move, the fluid moves. Bottom line, easy, simple, straightforward. Therefore, move, and your fluid moves, and you are already much healthier. And guess what? You know what's a huge part of moving the fluids? Breathing. Your respiratory diaphragm, that moves the fluids around as you breathe. So the better you're breathing, the better just your whole flow and your whole state and your mind and all that shit. And then you can get into the price charts, do your whole portfolio stuff, whatever it is you're doing, not taking this as advice, right? This is not any financial advice or anything else, but it is something to think about for sure. Hopefully educational, hopefully entertaining, and I would be placing my bet on that is the case at least some of the time. If not, here we go now. Sharing our screen. Well, by request, we have the Pirate Man light gray t-shirt. Before I go ahead, like, you know what, if you want to give any feedback on it, maybe you want it bigger or smaller, or if you want it in a different color, fine too. Just let me know, and then I will switch that up, and then you can order one that is even more attuned to what you want. If this is what you're looking for here, great. And then let me know how it goes. Okay, awesome. Thanks for the request, and peace. And don't forget to check out in the description. There should be the promo code. And if that doesn't work, please do let me know. All right. Now, I do want to say, so in this video, we're going to talk about some Elliott wave ideas. And I have been going through mastering Elliott wave, and it is really buzzing me. It's like a great buzz. So if you're into this kind of way of thinking or trying to think, then I highly recommend going through this work. All right, now the other thing we want to look at today is divergence. We're going to talk a bit about divergence, see if we do see any divergence. There's bullish divergence and bearish divergence. What is that? That's when the price and the indicator that you're looking at, whether it's RSI or MACD, a histogram, it will diverge from itself. Okay, you have the bullish types of divergence here, which is regular here and then hidden here. You have the bearish type, which is regular up here and hidden down here. In the bearish versions, you're comparing the highs And in the bullish versions, you're comparing the lows. Now, what you're noticing for is the difference. Does it make a lower low in the price and a higher high in the indicator, or vice versa? Then that will tell you there could be some bullish divergence, meaning you're looking for more bullish price action. All right, and then if it's bearish, well, the opposite, and you're comparing the highs and you're looking for down trending movements after this. All right, now, moving on from this, we are going to look now at the price charts, right? Flip of the tongue. So what did I want to look at? I wanted to look at some potential for divergence. And I also wanted to look at some Elliott wave ideas. So what we're going to do then to do that is first look, we are here on the weekly. So let's take a look, let's say on the daily. Okay, on a daily level, you see, I'm going to get rid of the drawing tools, okay, just for now. I'm going to show us here. We're going to be looking, whoa, that's no good. Doesn't matter now, I guess. I'm going to just delete that. I'm going to, again, whoops. Bear with me here, friends. Yeah, friends of Pirate Chain, friends of price charts in general, welcome. Friends of MACD and even RSI, welcome. Friends of, hey, we're reaching that Ichimoku cloud wall today. Friends of that kind of action. Wow, Bitcoin price chart now below the 20 period average and squeezing. I am potentially concerned based on the next time. Well, concerned is not really the right word because we are expecting, in this video, we're going to say that we are expecting a closing lower. How much lower? Hoping actually not much lower in any significant way, really. But that's just my sense here. And part of that will be potential divergence. Now, this wick here candle is a little interesting, but I do still believe that we are potentially, depending on this move here where we are, how low it starts going, could determine if this part of the histogram goes lower than this part of the histogram. So we could check using the histograms potential for divergence, where on the price chart, if the price is going lower, it's a lower low, but the divergence is going to be a higher low on the MACD histogram, okay? Then that could point towards some potential bullish behavior on the daily chart. However, it would only be on the MACD histogram, and it would not include the RSI, so that makes it less of a strong indication. Does that make sense? And if we just verify again, we said higher, lower high on the price and potentially higher high on the indicator. Interesting. We'll just keep an eye on that, right? So thanks for joining through all of these days. Really excitement in a different kind of way. For me, at least, I'm here making these videos, looking at ideas, enjoying the price charts, and I hope you are too. Yeah. All right. So that's the divergence idea. I wanted to now move into the, oh, let's see. Actually, I did notice that it might not be the same on the USD chart. So here we are daily. And here we have a lower high, lower high. Yeah, a lower low of price and a higher low of price here, where previously in the BTC chart it was a bit opposite, right? Now in that case here, we are potentially, although not very strong, going to see a level here. I'm thinking it might be lower, so I'm not counting on this on being divergent. And so I'm not really looking for that here. On a daily chart, we're really though looking like we're potentially on the dollar level reaching that low now. Look, we've broken with the MACD line, we've broken down below into the negative territory. And yeah, so I mean, it's not going to be too much longer before things start turning around to at least go sideways. At least I believe so. I don't know how much lower we're going, how much of a bear market we're going to feel. Just don't get the sense of anything like that type of devastation just yet. Okay, so interesting times. I mean, we are here in this day of 21st May, closing with a pretty low price. In fact, it is lower than all the previous closes on the dollar chart, and it is in the $4 level at like 425. So roughly, so you know, not so great. Although we did say, or I believe I said that this like price action could clear more of could continue more down into the wick of this candle and just continue down. And that, and you know what, no problem. We've been down here already, down in the threes, and we were expecting to be closing somewhere in the fours or the threes for the weekly. And that, again, that's going to come back again. Okay, so that's coming back once we look at the correction happening here. Okay, first we'll take the BTC chart for that, and we'll use the line chart. We will minimize our two indicators here for this time. Ooh, look at that sucker. Look at that sucker. Now, simple impulse up. Now we're in a corrective mode. On a daily chart, it's this. And it seems like, okay, we're going to talk today about zigzags and flats. I know I talked about it before, but we're going to be even more detailed and look at it in terms of, okay, what price levels can we think about? Okay, and what we're going to see here is that on the daily, we're looking more like a zigzag, and on the, if it is a more complex situation playing out as a zigzag, or we're looking at a flat, but a weak one on the weekly. And that means, okay, so here's the thing. So let's say you've got this zigzag playing out on the daily chart and a flat playing out on the weekly. Well, what we need to do, in my opinion, and I think that's what at least Glenn Neely Neowave is saying too. So hello, friends of Neowave and Glenn Neely. If you have any ideas on this, please let me know. But basically, saying that if the weekly chart is basically, the weekly chart is what matters more than the daily. The daily is meant to fit in the weekly. So if the weekly is playing out a certain pattern, then the daily would have to somehow be creating this pattern in its own way, where the price levels would have to be the same. So even if the daily is doing some sort of zigzag, the price levels would have to maintain. Now, because we're using closing prices, not candles, we, in fact, the prices can be different. On a daily chart, you'll have maybe a different high that closes in this area versus the weekly. So that's just one of the factors. And then the other factor is, okay, we still confluence the price and we decide where might it be going relative to each other, because the daily is going to complete in a way which will complete the weekly. Okay, so then what are we talking about? Let's move into it. Hope you're enjoying this so far. Hit that like button. Okay, now what are we saying? What are we saying? Let's clean this up a bit. First, let's talk about a zigzag pattern. So a zigzag normal pattern has an ABC relationship, okay? Okay, so let's look at that ABC relationship. We're gonna get rid of that, okay? We're gonna move the flat pattern down here. I'm gonna mention this because knowing the zigzag pattern will help us to determine whether or not this is a zigzag pattern, whether it's a flat pattern, okay? So let's take a look here. So we're looking at a zigzag pattern, and it's a normal zigzag pattern. And I'm going to do this. Bang, bang, bang. There we go. So a normal zigzag pattern, okay, ABC relationship. So you're going to have a wave A that retraces no more than 61.8% of the prior bigger wave, meaning of a higher degree. Okay, fine. Look, you know what? We only have a mono wave here on this one, so that's what we're going to work with. But it's a big enough mono wave here, we could say. Now, and yeah, I mean, a wave of a bigger degree. Yeah, we're not there. So wave A is going to retrace no more than 61%. Okay, that's going to make it a zigzag. If it goes to 61%, like this one is going to show us, then you're going to see that actually it's going to be a weak flat if it's between 61.8 and 81%. So weak flat, and that is actually what's going to be showing here in this sucker. So it's not going to be 61. Okay, if it is, it's a different pattern, but if it isn't, then it could be a zigzag pattern. Then the wave B is going to, which is the second wave. So wave A, sorry, let me even be more clear here. Wave A is going to be the first wave from top to bottom in a correction this way. See, if we were going the other way, if it was dumping down and then we were correcting, then the wave A would actually be a bounce back up. Okay, so imagine if this chart were inverted. Boom, same idea. This is dumped down, okay, that's your impulse, and then correction is up here, wave A, okay? All right, so that's basically the idea, but let's not play that way right now. Wave A, and then the next wave from the bottom of wave A to where it stops is going to be wave B, and then you're going to have from wave B down, you're going to have in the same direction as wave A is going to be wave C. Okay, so B is going to be the counter movement, and it's going to be an A, B, and a C pattern is going to be for a zigzag, but it's not going to, the B cannot be 61% of the A. And we have great tools here to figure that out. Okay, and that tool we're going to use here is the Fibonacci retracement tool here, which looks like that, Fib retracement. And all we're going to do is going to go to the top of the wave. Oh, sorry. So we're going to check wave A, retracing no more than 61% of the prior bigger wave. Good. So we'll come from down here, boom, go up here, boom. So you go from where your wave starts to where it closes, and then the next wave, it's going to be compared to what you're measuring. So you're basically measuring from here to here, and then the next wave, which is from this point, that distance is going to be measured by all these numbers. So here we have, it actually is a retracement of about 38.2%. Okay, so not even close to more than 61%, which is here. Wave A cannot retrace more than 61.8%, which would be this right here. This one down here, that coming down cannot retrace more than 61.8%, and it doesn't. So, okay, good. So that fits. And then wave B retracing at least 1%, but not more than 61.8% of wave A. So there you go. If it does retrace more than 61.8%, we said, boom, it's a flat pattern. You can see that down here. Okay. Now, so we're going to check that. So what are we going to do? We're going to use the same tool, but we're going to choose a different wave. Which wave are we comparing? We're comparing wave A here to wave and wave B. We're actually measuring wave B compared to wave A. So we have to measure wave A. So we take top of wave A down to the bottom of wave A, where wave B starts. Okay, so we get that. Okay, and it's roughly, so we can go closer and check to make sure our choices are better. Okay, sorry for all these other lines, we can ignore them. So roughly you're starting, roughly is again the word of the day today, down to this point, and then it does pierce the 61.8 up to here, and it just, yeah, I'm for now calling this a weak flat pattern, at least based on the B wave. Now what we're going to wonder is about the C wave. So like, what do we think then? So we're like, okay, it's a weak flat pattern, and what might be? Well, in a normal flat pattern, well, that's another story. First, yeah, because then in the zigzag later, we're going to check the other thing for a zigzag, and wave C is going to retrace between 61% of wave A and 161% of wave A. Okay, if it's a normal zigzag. If we were to go more than 161.8, then that would be a elongated, but that's another story. Okay, now we'll go into that with the daily chart. For now, we'll check the flat pattern. So we check the flat pattern. Okay, let's do that. Let's talk about this flat pattern. Okay. Potential flat pattern, really, nothing is confirmed yet. So we said that this B wave retraces 61%. Okay, so in a zigzag, first you're comparing wave A to the previous larger degree move. And then you're comparing wave B to wave A to make sure that it's not a flat pattern. And then you're comparing wave C to wave A to see how much it compares to wave A in the final part of that zigzag. But in a flat pattern is a bit different. In a flat pattern, again, you have your ABC type of relationship. However, and if we were to break it down, like I'm not going into the breakdown of the difference between, but I did make a mistake in a previous video, but and a zigzag breaks down into like a wave A is 5, wave B is 3 mono waves, and then wave C is again 5. So it's like a 5-3-5 in a zigzag, and then in a flat, wave A would be a 3, and then wave B would be a 3, and then wave 5 would also be wave C would be a 5. And that's where actually I've been doing a bit of thinking and stuff. And so if we want to go hunting for the breakdown of this A wave and find a 3 wave that fits this A wave, we can. And I believe I did that, but oof. Anyway, we can take a look if this doesn't take too long here. Okay, now, are you with me? What we're doing here is looking at, instead in a flat pattern, everything is comparing back to wave A. So first we compare not everything. First we compare wave B to wave A, and then we compare wave C to wave B. My bad. So first you compare wave B to wave A, and then you compare wave C to wave B. Okay. Now, so what are we doing? We're taking wave A and going down all the way. Then we compare wave B, and we say here wave B has retraced about 61.8%, which is, you know what, this is a flat pattern. It's not a zigzag. And if it is a zigzag, well, we'll reconsider. And that's where we can find this. Is this a 5 or is it a 3? If it's a 5, we can say probably it's a zigzag. If it's a 3, we can say it's a flat. At least that would be how I would think if I were following the Neely method of thinking. At least that's what it appears to be. So now, that's going to be called, there are a lot of different kinds of flats. I didn't want to list them all, but this is going to be a weak flat. Okay, the B wave is weak. A normal flat would would hit 81%, between 81% and 100% of it. So actually, the wave B would go actually like even up to 100%, like all the way back to the top. That would be a normal flat. And if it went beyond that, then actually it would be a strong flat. Okay, that's also a thing. Now, where are we going with this? What I'm saying here is that this is looking like a weak flat. As stated here, wave B retraces at least 61.8% of wave A. That's a weak flat because, yeah, it's not 81%. And now we're checking wave C against wave B. And in order for the flat pattern to complete, it needs to go at least 38.2% of wave B. So question is, could we complete at any point now? Are we technically complete? If this is a flat pattern, so now we're comparing wave C to wave B. So we take our wave B from the beginning of wave B to the end of wave B. And now we can compare wave C. If you want me to go a little bit further to the side so we can see our lines better, go ahead. There you are. And we are definitely past 32%. In fact, we are beyond now 68.18, and we are to 81. And so now what kind of flat pattern might it be? A common flat is possible here, where we would retrace about 100%, like so back to this original end of A wave line, meaning all of the B wave gets retraced, okay, up to 138.2, which is this yellow fib line down here, okay? So it could go all the way down to here and still be considered a common flat, but in this case, it would be a B failure because it's a weak flat, okay? Now, that would lead us at about 9,000 Satoshis. Okay, doable. We'll consider that when we go to the zigzag pattern, okay? In the daily chart, I should say. So 9,000 Satoshis could keep us even in a common flat. A double failure though, which could be super bullish in this case. Well, unfortunately, you don't have a strong flat. A strong flat would be great with a C wave failure. However, this would be where the B wave kind of fails as a weak flat. And then also though the C wave fails, it doesn't go all the way back down as much as the B wave. That fails. That would actually be bullish on this end of it, because it's saying, well, this is a flat pattern, but it can't even reach all the way down to the minimum for a normal, for a common flat. It actually is so strong, the buying pressure is so strong that it would be bought up higher up and continue on. Maybe it would have a new corrective move, continuing into a bigger complex thing. But on this chart, I'm hoping, and it looks like it might be just the next impulse up. But then again, things are still uncertain, but getting clearer by the day and by the week, I would say. Okay. Now, if it did go even further than that 138.2, which is below the 9,000, then that's considered maybe an elongated flat, and that, who knows how far that would go. At this point, I'd be really concerned, but not really concerned, just really concerned. But that would mean, because I would have to shift my plan, and that's okay. It's not that bad. It happens often enough. In life, we have to adapt. So, but I'm not expecting elongated flat. I'm expecting more so probably a common flat, and even as much as, into the 9,000s as a closing. But remember, there's a weekly closing, so that could mean a candle could hit down, even down. Let's say this red line here is down at the 8,300-ish level. You could definitely, if there's another dumping, this could be the case. All right. Okay, now, where do we go from here? I think we go to the zigzags again, just a reminder. So we're going to look at the zigzag here on the daily chart. So with the daily chart, we're saying, wait a second, it's not doing the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to check, is it possible that on a longer term, it's doing some sort of zigzag, like an extended in terms of time zigzag, the way crypto tends to do, with the ABC corrections that just draw out so long over time. It feels like, compared to the impulses that are just so rocketing. Although sometimes we do, again, get the downward rocketing impulses. And for some of the charts, it does feel like sometimes it is going up, but just so slowly. Now, what are we looking at here? We're looking at potential for a zigzag. So we're going to call this zigzag. Firstly, let us use one of these right now, because since we're here, we're going to use one of these. We're going to use an ABC Elliott correction wave, and we're going to say something like, possibly we might have an A here, a B here, and now to a C. And it might not, the B might not be exact wherever it is, but anyway, we could get some sort of zigzag pattern that plays out in this kind of way. Okay, and here is that that red line. And maybe on a daily, we do close here, but in that week, it bounces back up and it closes in the 9,000 range. That could happen. And that could clear out a bunch. So let's see. How that works. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take the biggest screen we can for now. okay? And we're going to take a look. What could this be? What could this be? Oh, wow, funny, 1st of June. Okay, let's go. What are we looking at? This is, again, the RBTC chart, okay? Not the RUSDT chart. Well, we can look at that too. Some people have been asking for longer videos. Well, here's another one for you. Now, let's do some fib retracements. So first, this bigger degree wave, it doesn't really matter. It's such a big wave. I don't think we're, okay. When I say it doesn't really matter, it matters enough, but I remember that we have checked this at least 3 or 4 times together, and it just doesn't, you know, any way that I decide to count it, it doesn't really retrace more than 61.8% on the A wave, Now, interestingly, this could, and I haven't fully counted it, but it could be some form of 3-wave pattern that gives us the B wave, where it's like a zigzag, not a zigzag, sorry, a flat pattern, okay? 1, 2, 3, you know, ABC type of a move that would give us a flat pattern within there. Anyway, and then this would be our 5. This would be an impulse if this were a flat, but in a zigzag, it would also be a 5, right? So, and what I did is I looked in this one in a smaller time frame, and I was able to find actually a 5-wave impulse down. I believe it was the 3-day chart, but it could have been a different one. Anyway, if you really want it, I can look for it again. Just leave it in the comments, but don't worry about it. Yeah, so I'm expecting here an impulse, and it looks like it'll be a visible impulse. So we could be definitely making an impulse down, and you know what that looks like. It looks like a dump, okay? And in terms of that impulse, I'm imagining this is probably the 3rd wave. Maybe we have this thing really well tracked. I think we are tracking it pretty well. We will see how it plays out, but it's good so far. Okay, so we're saying, okay, fine, zigzag, because it doesn't retrace more than 61.8%. Let's find out here. Let's choose, is this A to B wave? Is this accurate? Are we thinking correctly here? Okay, let's find out. Anyone leave your comments. If you know people who like wave theory, share this with them and ask them to comment on this. So now we're going to compare the, we're saying, sorry, that, I just want to show you here. The wave B is going to retrace at least 1%, but not more than 61% than wave A. So it definitely retraces if this is a B wave. And what we're going to do then is decide if we compare wave B to wave A. So we take the wave A where it starts to wave A where it ends. Boom. 61.8% is all the way up here. So no, it doesn't. Okay, fine. And now we're saying, okay, good. So it's a potential zigzag pattern in a complex form. So then wave C is going to be between 61.8 and 161.8 of wave A. So now we get to show a different tool, and that's going to be the extension. Fib extension is going to allow us to compare the following wave, the 3rd wave, okay, is going to be compared to the 1st wave by using the 2nd wave to bring us to the start of that 3rd wave, and it'll give us this from that start of the 3rd wave the comparison. So watch. So here, trend based fib extension. So boom to boom, okay, start to finish. And then you go to the beginning of that C wave, because you're comparing the C wave to the A wave. You hit that up right there, and you get your line. So if it's so it has to go from, it can be within the A wave it starts, so like at the B wave ending, the C wave starts, and it could be 61.8% of this whole move down, which would leave us here at the 5,500 Satoshi level. And wow. And if, yeah, 161.8, I think we're like in a negative territory. So this is why I'm like, I don't really think that it's going to apply in that kind of a way. It just doesn't seem like that. And now, okay, so what? So what does that mean? Well, watch this. wave C, all it needs to do though, okay, is pass wave A, all right, the end of wave A. Then it is technically a complete zigzag. But that would be a truncated zigzag if it doesn't go 61.8% of wave A. Let's say it goes 38.2%, right? So like to the 9,000 level, okay? Where I believe it needs to go there. Then that would be considered a truncated zigzag, which would be bullish. And that is definitely a potential, okay? I'm gonna double check all of that. If that's an issue, I will revisit that. But it looks like yes, we, in terms of a zigzag, I don't see it being even like 61% of that. That's just, well, I actually do. I could see that being the case in a BTC chart, and that's what this is. So if this is BTC chart and that's what it needs to do, for its long-term levels for Pirate Chain in the dollar denomination, then that's what it's going to do. I can see, I can accept that. If Bitcoin is going to just rip roar and the altcoins are going to dump for a while, I can deal with that. I can live with that. But something also tells me that there's an opportunity for the altcoins to really pump while Bitcoin goes sideways. So this might not even be playing out a full zigzag. We might be getting too complicated. I'm going to continue investigating it and watching it. I hope this has been helpful and informative for you, because even though we're not necessarily correct or sure about is this a zigzag or not, what we are able to do is we're able to think about it and watch it unfold in such a way that, in such a way that we can make sense of it, friends. And I'm just taking a moment here to recognize that, yes, our BTC could dump down while our USD is rocketing up, okay? That has been one of the possibilities all along. However, when we go back to this weekly time frame, it just doesn't really show the same picture yet, okay? And Lord forbid if this is a a zigzag pattern, because interesting it would be. What are we looking at here? Just last thing here. Was it the 3-day chart? No, not even. Maybe it was the 2-day, most likely. And if I don't see it on the 2-day, well then, yeah. So with a flat pattern, you're getting a 3-3-5, right? So it's just weak, but we got like A, B, C, and then we have even this just weak. I don't even know what kind of move this is. So just hasn't really shown on a chart any complexity. I've been able to, oops, not 4 hour. Although 4 hours, no. Yeah, this flat pattern, it must have been on the KMD chart. I was looking, these things, they just melt into each other, because KMD on the weekly is also showing a flat pattern, but a normal flat. I'll show that in another video. I have shown it in a previous video, I believe, and it's at the 81% level. Yeah, so I'm thinking here that it's just a matter of looking at it as a simple poly wave correction. And so far, it's still showing a flat, and a flat could lead us even, down and into these areas. I think that's where I'm leaving it now. One thing that I wanted to watch here as well is the potential for divergences. So there is this potential for a divergence with the RSI. where we have this lower high and higher high, whereas we have a higher low, a higher high and a lower high on the RSI. So if we look at our divergences, when we have a lower high on the indicator and a higher high on the price, that could be a hidden bullish divergence. So, on the weekly, we might be seeing a hidden bullish divergence with the RSI if the prices play out in this way, where this price wave here cannot go lower than the May 3 week price wave that closed here, or whatever is showing here at this roughly 10,000 level, okay? If that's the case, then wow, yeah, that's mad bullish, as they might say. On the weekly, we don't really see any information here though. And so that, just because we're seeing it on an RSI like this, right here compared to right here, you see that? Look at the price is higher, low, lower low, higher low in the price, and in the RSI, higher high and higher low, and now making lower low. Okay, interesting, something to watch, again, something to pay attention to, and keep your finger on the pulse of this sentiment of the markets. I don't really feel like going into the USDT. If you want to see some more of that, let me know. Just recognize that if you keep yourself paying attention, keep yourself in a decent position. Like, look, if you think that, okay, it has heavily dumped down today, right, in this daily chart, it has heavily dumped down today. Well, if you're not comfortable with that and you see that it goes back up, that gives you psychologically a bit of a better feeling if you do get rid of some. But this is no longer the time. Like, we're in a place where is it going? It's impulsing down. It's not time to be getting rid of it anymore. It's just not that time anymore. So now the time is just look for places you can get more, or if not, just hold on, enjoy yourself, enjoy the ride. You're in this to win this, and if you play it right, you will. That's the bottom line. Believe in yourself and believe in each other, and that's all we need to consider at this time. Now that time is over, there's more to consider, of course. So yeah, other things to consider, go do that. I think we're done here for now. Stay well out there. Love, peace, happiness. Enjoy, friends. Take care. Keep that feedback coming. Really enjoying doing these videos and learning along with you and laughing along the way too. I'm having a great time. Peace out, friends. Until the next one.